everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to tie-dye. I fell in love with tie-dye. It's all over TikTok, it's all over Instagram, and this whole thing started off by me going online and trying to purchase a tie-dye set because I just thought they were so cute, and you know, for lounging around or like running essential errands, they're very, very cute and comfortable, and I just think like a matching tie-dye set is so cute, especially right now. They're so in. So I went online trying to find one, and it turns out it's harder than you might think. So they're either impossible to find or $1 billion. Because I tie-dyed as a kid, this didn't seem scary to me, and I knew it was something that would be relatively easy and cheap to do. The dye is cheap. You can find really cute white sets for like under $30. To me, it's crazy to pay like upwards of $100 for a tie-dye set when you can make it yourself, adjust it to exactly how you want. And that's what I've been doing these past few weeks. I felt like a little scientist in my lab trying to figure out the perfect way to tie-dye. Oh, by the way, don't mind this background. I'm redoing my dining room area and I'm waiting for some things to come in. Anyways, that's besides the point. I've tie-dyed so much stuff. Everything white in my house is now tie-dyed because I was trying to find the perfect color, the perfect technique, and I think I found it. So the plan for today is going to be telling you guys exactly what you need, the methods that I have found that are kind of like the best, and I'm also going to be tie-dyeing 3 different sets. The first thing you're going to need are the clothes that you're going to tie-dye. I personally, like I said, really love Missguided clothing. It's the only place that I've actually found like matching sweatpants and sets in white. I didn't know white was so hard to find, like white sweatpants. Missguided is really the only place right now where I can find white sweatpants. The next thing you're going to need is your dye. I'm personally using Rit dye. That's just because I didn't want to go with the conventional like blue, green, bright purple, bright yellow that comes in a tie-dye kit. If you want more of those colors, by all means, you can order like a tie-dye kit and you get almost everything. I wanted more like nudes and neutral colors. So the colors I have are tan, rose quartz, fuchsia, evening blue, taupe, and teal. So those are the colors that I have. Next, you're gonna be needing these are like like hair dye bottles. You can buy them on Amazon, or if you have them from when you've dyed your hair, those will work too. Also tried using like a spray bottle. Personally, I find the outcome like nearly identical. So whichever you prefer, I find these actually go a little faster. So I'm going to be using those. You need some elastic rubber bands, some rubber gloves so you don't get dye in your fingers. This is my dyeing towel. It is the same as like when I dye my hair at home, I use this towel. I really recommend doing this so you can test out what the color dye is actually going to look like. You don't want to just go ahead right on your white clothes, because if it's not the color you want, it's on there forever. You're going to need some dish soap. I don't exactly know what this does, but I saw most people use it. I think it helps put the color on the clothes evenly. I don't really know what it does, but I put it in there anyways. And then you're going to need a container to mix your dye, because you're gonna wanna make a bigger batch, especially when you're doing a matching set, because then you don't wanna have to try and get the exact same color for your pants as you put on your top. So you're gonna wanna make a bigger batch just so the color is the exact same throughout the whole process. So without further ado, now that we have everything that we need, I'm gonna get everything set up. Oh, and garbage bags are really important, or anything to cover the area that you're gonna be working on. So now let's get started on tie-dyeing our clothes. Okay, so this is the first set we're going to make. It is very similar to the one that I have on, just because I had the most questions about that. That's the one we're gonna do first. To do that, we're going to use the color tan. We have our clothes that we're going to be dyeing. You want to dampen them in the sink or the tub. You can pre-wash them. Basically, they just need to be wet before you put the dye on them. So I just got them wet in the sink. You're going to need your jug with hot water. Hot water is very important for this dye. If you don't add hot water, it's going to look blue or green. The hot water is what turns it into this tan color, and you're gonna wanna make sure you shake it up really well to get all of the pigments all throughout. For the color, you can really go off what you want. I like a pretty dark color, pretty dark nude, so I'm gonna add about that, but don't forget, we will be testing the color. You can see how it looks like a brown color. Now we're just gonna add a little dish soap. Again, I don't really know what that does. And on our towel, we can like test out now what it looks like. So I actually want it to be quite a bit darker than that. So I'm going to add some more. Again, the less dye you use, the paler it's gonna be. I think I could actually even put a little bit more. And I think that's gonna be perfect. So we have our dye all mixed up and ready to go. And now this is the important part. There's many different ways that you can kind of fold or crinkle or tie your pieces. The way I like doing it is called the crinkle method. Basically, all you do is grab your clothing and just start kind of crinkling it all together like this. You want more of the area to be white, you would kind of do a tighter crinkle. If you want more of the area to be colored, you would do kind of like a looser crinkle. Then you're just going to be taking your elastics and kind of tying them. And then I'm going to take one more elastic and put it around this way. You can kind of adjust it however you want it. So you can't see it, but I actually do have another separate garbage bag. That's really important because that's what like the dye and color is going to be on. And then when everything's done, we're just gonna wrap it up in this garbage bag, tie it up, and it's good to go. So same thing with the top. We're just gonna go and start crinkling everything up. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't tie it with an elastic every time. Like for this sweater, I didn't, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna tie it with an elastic. We're going to take our dye bottles. So all you're gonna do is start spraying this all over your piece. So that was actually one full bottle. So I would say that one bottle kind of gets one side done. Then you're just going to flip it over and just apply it on. You do want to make sure you put enough. And also I do find that this color lightens up. Don't forget to do the sides. Okay, so now that this is done, we're going to set it to the side and work on this one. So I'm just gonna kind of grab a paper towel to wipe off like the excess amount, but it's the same color, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. So like I said, some people like doing this, some people don't. So I'm very happy I did this because as you can see, this area doesn't have a lot of tie-dye on it. And that's something that I obviously want to get a little bit more tie-dyed. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this area up. Yes, sprinkle, that's the right word. And then I'm just going to tie-dye this area. If you like bigger white patches, by all means, leave it. So that is done. The reason I like putting a separate garbage bag under each piece I work on is because when you're done, instead of transferring it to another bag, you just fold it up like this. Grab one of your elastics and tie it around. And now your whole mess is gone. You don't need to use another plastic bag. And this is just the best way I've had. So this is going to sit, you can let it sit for as long as you want, preferably up to like 8 to 24 hours. But if you notice that the color is like getting really dark, can wash it a little bit sooner. Okay, so for this next set, we're gonna be making this set right here. I wanted to do more of like an ombre up the leg in a different style, not the crinkle method. And then for the top, right now, I have no idea what we're gonna do, but I'm sure we'll figure it out and you will have seen it. For this method, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna start with the pants. And what we're going to do is do like an ombre pink up the leg. Lay the pants down like this. And then at this area, we're going to tie an elastic. Then we're gonna tie an elastic a little bit further up. And we're gonna do the exact same at the exact same spots to the other side. So with this method, you can do either like an ombre effect like we're going to do, or you can do like this section pink, yellow, purple, blue. With this, I find that this color is actually a little bit more like kind of like peachy than I want it to be. You guys will see. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this tan color. I want it to be more of like a neutral pink rather than like a coral. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more pink to that. And I'm also going to add the tiniest splash of violet because this stuff is super powerful. Just the tiniest little bit. I want this area to be the darkest, lighter, lighter, and lighter. So what we're going to do is take our bottle, and right now we're just going to be putting this liquid in it. We might need to darken it up. I think I'm going to add a little bit more pink to it. So with this one, I'm just going to be saturating the ends in this color here. For this next area, we're just gonna put it on without adding any more color to it. For this next section, I have a little bit of water to dilute it. So this is going to be even lighter than this color. Now, if I'm being honest, I don't exactly know how this is gonna turn out because I've never done this method, but I wanted to test something interesting and fun. Okay, and for this final section here, I just diluted it a lot with a lot of water, and I'm gonna go through and just put this on. And I kind of want to leave this end, the top, pretty white. So I'm going to wrap this in its own bag just because there's a lot of liquid. I want that liquid to kind of stay in there so it can sit with the pants. All right, so for the top, I decided to kind of do the same thing and do an ombre thing, but go light to dark. This could look really bad, but we're just gonna try. So we're gonna start with the light. All right, and for this last set, we're going to be making like a light sky blue kind of set. I actually ran out of tops from Misguided. I guess I didn't order enough. So they're not exactly the same kind of white, but that's okay. I crinkled them already to save time using the crinkle method that you saw in the first set. And then for the color, I just took a little bit of the evening blue dye and I diluted it with a lot of water because I wanted a really pale blue, and that color is very, very intense. So all we're going to do is pour it in our little thing, of course. I'm hoping this blue comes out nice. You can also do mixed colors, like you can add purple to this or a different kind of like a darker blue, an orange, any color you want. I personally don't really like mixed colored tie-dyes, just a lot for me, but you can do whatever you want. Another tip that I actually did with the sweater I'm wearing right now is once you have this like base tie-dye on, you can go in with a darker color dye of the same color. So you would just add more blue dye and go in certain spots and darken it up. Personally, I want it all to be the same color, so I'm not gonna do that. You are gonna have dimension in it already, but if you wanted to further make it a little bit more dimensional and darker in certain areas, you can go in and do that. Okay, and for this last method here, we're gonna kind of do the swirly design, and then you can do whichever pants you like to match. So all you're gonna do is grab in the middle of your sweater and twist like this, and you'll see it kind of comes together. And you're just gonna keep twisting. Then what you're going to do is take a few elastics and you're going to put them all around the circle. For this one, you're going to want to put you can either do them all in the same color and have one swirly kind of color. This is the color I did last time, the pinky color with a little bit more tan in it. And then you're gonna flip it over and put it to like the same triangle on the reverse side. And it's okay if the colors kind of bleed. And I'm also gonna put this color on the opposite side. So in total, I'm gonna have 3 different colors. I'm probably not gonna wear it if it has blue in it. I'm just being honest, and I want to be able to wear it. So you can do different colors, but I think I'm just gonna do lighter shades of this color because I like this like coppery color. So you can do blue, but I'm gonna stick to this color. Okay, so this is the first set that we made. You can see that after we washed the dye out, although it looked very tan and camely, it actually came out more of like a blush nude. To make this color, I just simply used the tan dye. I didn't add anything else to it. Overall, I'm really happy with this. I did use a darker color, so if you wanted it to be a little bit more pale, you can just simply dilute it with a little bit more water or leave it on for less time. Overall, I'm really happy. Just be careful with your elastics. You can see it kind of got messed up here because the elastic was holding it a little bit too tight and the dye couldn't go there. But overall, I'm really happy. I'm happy with the color and they fit super well. I definitely love this set from Missguided. Okay, I am actually so very pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. Not gonna lie, I was kind of worried about this one. I just hadn't tested out this technique before and I just wasn't sure about it, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the kind of ombre effect. I love how the elastics made this look. I did tie the top just to give it a little bit of a different look, but you can wear it open. It'll look like this, and overall I'm just really happy. Like I said, you can do like different colors like rainbow, like blue, pink, yellow, purple, whatever you want. I'm just more of a one color kind of person. The more I tie-dye, the more I realize that it's kind of hard to mess up tie-dyeing. No matter what you do, it kind of looks good. This top would also look super cute if you just wanted to pair it with a pair of white sweatpants. These are from Aritzia. I just love it so much. I don't know if you could tell. Okay, so I actually think that this one is my favorite out of all of the sets. I just love how the tie-dye is kind of like dispersed through the top and bottoms. And I also really like the color. So diluting evening blue with a lot of water gives you this like really pretty sky blue color, which I love. I'm just so happy. I'm extra happy with this set. And like I said, I personally wouldn't wear tie-dye with like 1,000 colors, but if you wanted to, you can add as many colors as you want. I think the trick to that is just to make sure they're like pretty diluted so they kind of all blend together. That's how I would do it, and maybe I will do that once I pick up a few more colors. So this is obviously not how I would style this sweater. I'll show you that in a second, but I just want to show you the outcome. So you can't really see like a complete swirly. I'll have to experiment some more to master that. I haven't quite mastered the swirly tie-dye yet, but you can still see like the lines, and I do really like that. And I did have a better outcome when I did it with a like little thin shirt, but overall I really like it. I like the color of this as well. To do this, I mixed tan and rose quartz and didn't water it down too much, but this sweater would look super cute just paired with some white sweatpants. Okay, so this is another set I made. I wanted to show it to you guys and tell you guys how I did it because I got a lot of questions about it, and it's also just a different technique and a different method that I think you guys would be interested in. To make this set, I used tan and rose quartz, and what I did was I diluted it with a lot of water. So you can see that this set is way more like pastel-y. I personally really like that. It's definitely less like in your face, and so I just went in and diluted it with a lot of water, still to the point where you can like see the dye on the fabric. I left it on overnight, and this is what happened. So as opposed to the first set, the difference is that I added a little bit of pink and diluted it with a lot of water. Okay, and this is the one I've gotten the most questions about. So I wanted a lot of the tie-dye color on this one. If you want more white running through it, definitely tie it up with an elastic to make sure it's like really tight and your color doesn't really bleed. And to get this, I used the colors tan and taupe, mostly tan and then like a splash of taupe mixed into it, and I got this really pretty nudie mauve color, and I just have it paired with some sweatpants. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to show you guys this one, which isn't my favorite, but I thought maybe some of you would like it, and I thought I would tell you guys what I did. So to make this one, of course, I used the same method as the last sweater, the crinkle method, but I didn't use an elastic to keep it all nice and tight. And for this one, I used the color taupe, but I didn't add it to hot water, so it never turned into like the brownie color. It kind of stayed with the gray green color, which I was going for because I wanted more of like an edginess. I honestly don't know how I feel about this color. It's not my favorite. And then I also added a little bit of teal, like a tiny little bit to the color, and that's kind of what you can see running through the edges, which I think is really cool because you have like gray, and then just along the edge of the gray you have like the teal color. Okay, so I'm sitting here editing and I just remembered that I completely forgot to end this video off and do an outro, so here it is. I hope that I wasn't too confusing, and I hope that this helped you. Of course, everything will be linked down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for new videos every single week. I love you with my whole heart. I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope you are looking a little better than I am, but I love you guys, and I'll see you guys back here next time.